hope everyone has been having a fantastic new year so far. 2018 only gets bigger and better than 2017 did. So we want to do everything in our power at Pre-PT Grind to make sure that y'all have everything you need to have a stellar 2018. For those of y'all applying this year, for those of y'all deciding that PT is it for y'all this year, for those of y'all actually starting PT school this year, all of y'all, we want you guys to dominate this year. So looking forward to it. We should be good on the pre-doctor physical therapy students page. Perfect. For those of y'all that have missed, we had another episode, our 32nd podcast episode with Lior. An absolutely amazing episode where he really he's a deep thinker, y'all. So if you listen to the podcast, it'll really get you thinking about all the different processes of getting into PT school. He had a few struggles himself, quite a few application cycles and so on and so forth. And what are things that he did to set himself up so that he could do well as a now physical therapist. He's a new grad physical therapist working in the East Coast. So that's an absolutely amazing story. If you guys have missed it, y'all go listen to it. But tonight, Casey, we're giving them the top 5 things we wish we would have known when we were in their shoes. I think that's a pretty good deal. All right?
Yeah, that's right. I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
All right, let's make it happen. So we're going to list the top 5 to begin with, and then we're going to break them down and explain to you guys how they will be of value to you. And as you guys go through this, if you guys see in the comment, like we said, 2018 is a new year. 2018 is about taking you guys to another level in regards to your focus, in regards to your clarity of how everything will fall in place as a pre-PT and more. So if y'all at any point in this video, if y'all like, you know what? I want these guys' top 5 ways of becoming a top 10 pre-PT in 2018. Y'all just comment me, capital M, lowercase e, exclamation mark in the comments below, and we will make sure y'all get it. All right. Now let's begin. So number 1 out of the 5 things we wish we would have known as pre-PT students. Number 1, the power of volunteer and observation hours done right. So, I mean, here's the thing, y'all. Like, for a lot of you guys that are starting now, and we always say, start early, all that good stuff. But for those of y'all that are at the point where you're just now beginning the process of getting your observation hours down. And I heard someone saying today that, certain schools they were applying to were only looking for like 20 hours and others were looking for 82 and so on and so forth. It does differ, but it becomes an advantage to you if you guys do it right. It becomes an advantage to you. I remember my last clinical rotation, ironically, the very last day of my last, not clinical rotation, of my last observation hour location. Before I applied for PT school, there was 2 young individuals that walked in. And this is not to throw shade, but the first thing I noticed is 30 minutes in, they appeared bored. They were already on their cell phones. All those things are clear no-nos to all of us. So for you guys, that's not like a huge surprise. What we want you guys to realize is when it's done right, it becomes an advantage to you. Like, I've talked to young pre-PTs who have been offered, the opportunity to, after going and observing, after being intentional, after going in and not saying, I'm going to be a fly on the wall, after going in and saying, okay, I'm going to help them white tables, I'm going to talk to patients, I'm going to ask questions of the PTs, the PTAs, whoever's working, I'm going to throw myself in there. I've seen people get offered jobs. I've seen people get offered jobs to be PT techs, which, if you guys have been listening to us at all, like, that's a big advantage to be a tech, where you're getting paid, you're working, obviously getting an income, but now, whether you're a full-time tech or a part-time tech, you're getting a lot of hours of exposure to not only the patient experience, but to how the clinic environment runs. But for y'all, it's even another step further. You guys get mentors. So one of the PTs that I observed became a mentor of mine while I was in PT school. You get mentors because they realize this kid wants to know more, and any good mentor wants to just impart knowledge on someone who is willing to receive it. So if you go in with the mindset that, you're coming in to get the most out of that experience, right? whether you're seeing one PT, whether you're having multiple PTs, whether you're going to an outpatient PT place and then an inpatient PT place and acute care, neuro, it doesn't matter. Every place you go, you should be standing out to the point where those PTs want to mentor you. Like they should be wanting to give you more. They should be wanting to spend more time with, like, when you say, hey, over lunch, can I ask you some questions? They should be like, of course. Like, you have shown so much initiative as a pre-PT that they're so willing to give. That's how you guys get, like, that's the advantage y'all get. When you're in PT school, that's the person you rely back on. Hey, we're studying, so someone I saw in my neuro rotation, or well, my neuro observation hours. Hey, we're studying this, that, and the other. I'm having a hard time, putting it together. Teachers have explained it, classmates have, based on what you've seen in the clinic. Like, how would you apply this? How would you think this through? I've done that, y'all. It's advantageous to you. But now what happens? Let's say you're in a location where you want to end up working. Who are they going to hire? Someone they're just learning about via resume, or someone that has been very intentional about maintaining that relationship, that communication, very curious, asking a lot of questions. Y'all, this is an advantage to y'all. It's not just a checklist that schools are saying, hey, 20 hours. Okay, cool. I did my 20 hours. I did what I had to do. 82 hours, 100 hours. It doesn't matter what it is. If you see it as just a checklist, then yeah, you're really not going to get the most out of it. So how are y'all thinking about it? There is power in it. Casey, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, so for my observation hours, my volunteer experience, I wish that I like observed a wide variety of settings, because I kind of just did the bare minimum, just get it done and get in. I did my outpatient and my inpatient, sent it in. I was like, here, this is what you want. Here it is. Accept me. But I feel like if I did like a more variety, I would have been more open to like what's out there. And I would have been more motivated because I knew what was out there. I knew that you can do more like peds, everything clinical plus non-clinical stuff. If I just knew what was out there, I would have been more motivated. Like, it shouldn't have taken me being rejected to like light a fire under me. I should have been motivated from the start, from all my variety of observation hours, just from the get that first year. Then the second time I reapplied, then I was like, okay, I got to get my stuff done. But if I knew what was out there, if I had all these settings in my mind, what I could do, I would have been like, man, I'm ready to go now. I need to do what I have to do. I would have been accepted probably the first time. Who knows? Like, so I think a variety of settings is what I wish I have known, like what to do, like right off the bat. And I would have been like that much more motivated in my observation hours, because I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything bad in my observation hours. I was an average student, just getting his hours, clocking in, clocking out. I interacted with patients. I did the good stuff. I did the bad stuff. But if I had that sense in my mind that there was more out there than just this basic clinical setting, basic hospital setting, I feel like I would have been motivated from the jump. And who knows where I would have been today. Luckily, it worked out the second time. But yeah, that's what I wish. Yeah, that's one of the things I wish I knew as a pre-PT before PT school.
So as we go on, what are things that you guys have questions on in regards to that? What are things that you guys are curious about in regards to volunteer hours? And for those of y'all that are either PTs or have been accepted or have finished all these different things, like, what are things you guys wish you would have known, or what are things that were helpful to you when you guys were setting up your observation hours? I agree, being attentive and interacting with PTs and patients got me a job as an aide, and now my dual duties as a front desk manager as well. Gabby, exactly, you got it. Those things, because, oh my goodness, if every pre-PT just understood what they could do with this, y'all would be taking over every single PT job. Like, oh my, like y'all would be having your job set up for you before you graduate, because they're waiting for you to finish. They're imparting knowledge on you and saying, yo, finish up so you can come work for us. You're the kind of person we need to build with. Real talk. So that's number one. As y'all come, there we go. All right. So number two, that was number one. Number two, a low GPA does not limit you. Now, this one, I think a lot of you need to hear, because there have been many of you who have been told that, well, you got a lower GPA. Maybe you should try something else. Maybe you should, try, being like an athletic trainer or some kind of a coach. I've heard someone being told they should be a PE teacher. I mean, and that's not to dog on any of those professions. Those are all amazing professions. But for someone that wants to be a physical therapist, those are, all plan Bs, right? Those are all plan Bs. And so being told that your GPA is the limiting factor when you have the passion, when you have this vision, this drive, this why of understanding that physical therapy is the vehicle that you want to be utilizing to serve people in the future, to be told that, yeah, well, you have a low GPA, you can't do anything about it, is false, is absolutely false. Now, does it change the game plan as to how things roll? Yeah, maybe a little bit. But is it possible to still get into PT school? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. That is one thing I wish Casey and I both understood back then, because a lot of our peers even that we went, because Casey and I went to the same university for our bachelor's degree as well as our PT schooling. Like the peers that we had, there were people that were, dropped off the wayside because they were told their GPA was never going to set them up to win. Like GPAs anywhere ranging from 2.5 to like 3.2, 3.3. Oh, your GPA is not high enough. You'll never compete. There are so many ways out there, but that is one thing we wish we knew. Here's the thing, y'all. There are PT programs designed to counter that. There are PT programs that look at your last 60 credit hours. There are a few PT programs that don't even necessarily look at the GPA that much. But if you want to get into PT school, it's possible. Sometimes do we have to retake some courses and, recalibrate a few things and have a good, like essay and maybe do a little better on the GRE and dominate our, our interviews and work all those details out? Well, yeah. But all those things are fixable. All those things can be taught. All those things can be learned. But is it possible? Yes. And I think for us, for Casey, myself, for the pre-PT grind team, it's getting to the point where we allow pre-PT students to really embrace and accept the fact that regardless of what's limiting them on their journey, regardless of what they feel is their roadblock, if PT is for you, it is for you. That simple. If PT is for you, it is for you. That's simple. So what that means is if you are at a point where it's the GPA, so right now we're talking about GPA, if that's what's limiting you, like y'all reach out to us. Like we can even have a conversation about how specifically for you we can take care of that. But all those things are fixable. All those things are fixable. I've heard, if y'all have never listened to the Pre-PT Grind podcast, this is not like to market it, but this is just to show you that Casey and I are just not like talking, out of our heads. Like there are multiple stories on there where people are like, yeah, like I had a really low GPA, 2.5, 2.6, 2 point this, whatever. Now they're in PT school or they're successful physical therapists or business owners doing very well for themselves. But had they listened to the people that were telling them, y'all ain't gonna make it, you should quit it, you should drop it now, we would lose those people in this profession. Think of all the patients they have helped. Think of all the clients they have helped, whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face. All those people would have missed an opportunity to be served by that individual had they just listened to someone telling them that they can't get in because of a low GPA. So low GPAs do not limit you. Do we have to recalibrate? Yes, but they do not limit you. Casey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll get into my thoughts in a little bit, but let's get to some questions here.
Perfect.
Let's pull it up. So Heather is asking, how do you get your foot in the door to, set up your observation hours in the first place?
So there are a number of ways. So what I did, I probably went the long way around. What I did is I looked up all the local, because I didn't have any kind of connection. I didn't have someone that was like, hey, like I know of a clinic. Obviously, that's best if someone can recommend it. But what I did is I looked up local outpatient facilities, local hospital, inpatient, all those different things, and I reached out to them. I looked on Google, like I literally Googled them. I Googled the locations, I Googled their numbers, and it was a simple like, hey, my name is Joseph. I'm a pre-physical therapy student. Just like, especially because like the front desk person has a lot of other things to deal with. And so if they're the ones picking up, just keep it nice and sweet, nice and short. Hey, my name is Joseph. I'm a pre-PT. I was wondering if you guys accept, students that want to observe and then learn more about the profession. That simple. Some places say, nah, we don't do that. Maybe it's because they're overwhelmed. They have a lot of other things going on. And most places tell you, yeah, that's simple. And then it was all about, hey, like reach out to this individual. So there was always one PT or one individual that was kind of the head person. And so they would give me that person's number. I would talk with them and we'd figure out a time. And I'd come in once, we'd figure out a schedule. It was that simple. That's literally all I did. Now, for you guys, where you stand out, that's when you show up. Like, just getting in the door is not that difficult. Now, if you're in a location where there's no PT facility close by, then okay, we might have to like call us and we'll figure out, what another strategy plan is. But once you get in the door, that's when you show up. That's when you say, okay, I'm not sitting my behind down this entire time that I'm here. I'm standing up. Like, if they're not sitting down, I'm not sitting down. If patients are doing something, if the patient is by themselves, I'm going to go chat with them. I'm going to ask them a little bit about, what brought them here, a little bit about themselves. Like, I like talking to people about like random stuff. Like, I just want to know about their kids, about their careers, about, where they grew up, where they like all these crazy things. Like, but just start that conversation. People notice. PTs will notice. They will look over and be like, who's that young young person that's been, hanging around here? Like, she's good or he's good with our patients. Like, every time we look around, they're cleaning a table that someone just left. Like, all those things add up. And then from there, it's a wrap. From there, it's now starting to develop your relationships with the PTs, with everyone that's there that's a clinician. And then from there, it's all those things I was talking about before. But getting your foot in is actually not that hard, depending on where it is. What's the best way to set up an internship? Some places don't have options for internships on their site. Do practices offer an internship if you just call and ask? Okay, so internships, like, I don't know, like, that word can be used for multiple things. If you're talking observation hours, then it's what I was just kind of talking about. If you're talking more internship while you're in school, most of your schools will set you up with those. So when you are in physical therapy school, that's when you do your internships. Prior to PT school, that's just for y'all to understand, how the field works, get a feel of how everything rolls, for y'all to even know whether you really want to do it or not. Because some folks are just like, yo, PT sounds amazing. Then they go into a clinic and they're like, no, I'm good. I don't like talking to people. I'm like, why'd you even? Anyway, but it happens. It happens. But for an internship, that usually happens when you are in PT school. So obviously some schools do it at the end of your PT schooling. So right now, Casey just came off of 2 back-to-back internships. He has 10 weeks of class, and then he has 2 more internships before he's Dr. Casey Coleman. All right. So let's go, bro. And so internship wise, that will be set up for you with your different universities. Different schools have different, flows for how they do it, but they will explain to you what their system is once you guys get into the program. Getting a jobs, you can see whether they have an opening, but the best way to get a tech job is to literally start observing, start volunteering, and literally just be there, be all in, be all about it, stand out to the point where they can't say no to you. They can't say no. So I hope that answers your question. If it didn't, comment again, and we'll make sure you're taken care of.
All right. Yeah, observation hours, like, you don't have to make them more complicated than they really are. A lot of these clinics, a lot of these hospitals have PTs on staff, hire new grads, so they know how this process works. They're kind of expecting you guys to be asking for observation hours. So just ask by email, phone call, even show up. There's been a lot of success with just showing up and be like, I'm here, this is what I have to do, here's my resume, this is what I'm looking for, I'm a pre-PT trying to get in. So it's a lot simpler than you may think. Andy Seraphin is saying, like, he just used Google Maps and just searched for places around him, just like Joseph said. So it's nothing crazy at all. But I have a question for you guys. So about, like, you're asking about what we wish we knew as pre-PTs and stuff, but for the pre-PTs now, like, what are you most scared of when going into PT school? Let's just say you're already accepted. Some of you are accepted now. Like, what's haunting you? Like, what are you frustrated about? What are you scared of? Like, because like PT school might be this like kind of brick wall or glass ceiling, however you want to look at it. And like, oh, what's on the other side? There's something scary about it. What's this big DPT school all about? So what's really scaring you? So let us know, drop them in the comments, and I'll talk about GPA from my point of view, like low GPA. So our school has like a 3+, I look frozen here, but as long as you can hear me, our school has a 3+3 program, and some students can get like the best grades in all the classes they need to get, the A's in. But when they get into PT school, they can have a 3.8 4.0 in their specific prerequisites just to get in,
Mm,
then they fail out.
talk about it.
First semester, second
Talk,
semester,
talk
they
about
had
it.
the GPA, they had what
Mm,
they needed to have to get in, but once
mercy.
they hit that PT school, they were done. They were out. They failed out. They couldn't handle it for some reason. So if you have the best GPA, doesn't mean you're going to be successful. If you
Mm,
have a low GPA, doesn't mean you're not going to be successful. Like, you just have to know how to package everything else and
yes.
wrap it in a nice package, put a nice bow in it on it, and say, okay, here I am. Yes, I have a low GPA, but this is all everything else I have to offer. This is what I have to offer. So it's not so much about having a low GPA. You just have to know how to package all the other great qualities about yourself. That's pretty much it. That's what I wish I knew about GPA before PT school.
Mm, perfect, man. GPA is a big stressor, and I think this is actually one of the biggest reasons why we started what later led to becoming, pre-PT grad. How to manage loans with cost of living, for example, how much to take out each semester, estimating food costs, rent, make sure the money is
Fit bucks.
distributed on time. That's true, man.
Yeah.
That's all fit bucks. Casey, what are your thoughts on that, man?
All right. Well, like I said, FitBucks has a lot of stuff you need. You can go to them directly, or we have something coming out ourselves that you can be a part of, where we partnered with FitBucks, talking about all the money, all the finances, what to do with your undergrad loans, grad school loans, and all that. But as far as living expenses, how much to take out a semester, food costs, you can easily get a flexible job almost anywhere. Like, that's what I did for a lot of my other expenses. Like, I just used loans for that big tuition cost and whatever other big cost I needed. Everything else, I worked, made my money, and just paid it that way. So I didn't have to use my loans to pay interest on a hamburger or pizza, anything like that. So that's my quick answer to that question on what you can do with like the other expenses in PT school. What you got?
Yeah, but I mean, on top of that, it's like 100% agreed. And on top of that, it's just the fact that like you want to use as little as possible. Now we have to be realistic in knowing that there are like sometimes there's like a limit to how much we can really do, right? Especially if you have a family and all these other things that are really hounding down on you. However, like especially in PT school, like it does add up. Like I have man, depending on the school you go to, you can be, anywhere from like 50, 80, 100, 150, $1,000 in debt. Now that shouldn't freak you out because there are ways to like make that back. And we can talk about that on a different live. However, scholarships, run with scholarships. I didn't start scholarships early enough, y'all. I did not start them early enough. Scholarships are huge for y'all. And I think what that does is it completely changes the game for like even you taking out loans. Like now you're combining scholarships with what Casey just says with a job. I know somebody whose parents, right before they started college and their grad program, the summer before they began, their parents said, all right, y'all are not working this summer. So what they did is they applied for scholarships and they ended up earning like several times more than they would have had they just worked a summer job. Now, obviously, there are ways to do that. You can look at local scholarships. Obviously, be more specific. If you have, if you're a minority, even there are minority scholarships. There are so many different scholarships that are more local. Obviously, trick is don't go for the ones that are super huge. Look for ones that are not the $10,000 ones because a lot more people are applying for that, but maybe for the more local $200, $300 ones, and those do add up. And so with a lot of those, when you are cleared for them or they accept you and you're able to get those scholarships, a lot of those you can renew annually. And so now think about how that adds up, how much that's taking out of you, like your stress, your personal stress. And so like had I started scholarships before, that would have easily like saved me tens of thousands of dollars. And so you combine that with what Casey was saying with a flexible job. Flexible job is everything from being a PT technician to being Casey did a lot of caddying, working in a restaurant, any kind of service industry. So waiter, waitress, anything where you are actually learning all the skills that you're going to need as a physical therapist, where you're actually dealing with people, communicating with people, having to sell people on on the service that you're providing. Being a waiter or waitress is a big part of that, right? When you leave with a big tip, if any of y'all have been a waiter or waitress, it means a pretty pretty big deal. So take that and run with it. But like Casey said, also, we are teaming up with FitBucks, the company, to now bring y'all more details on how the finances work from the CEO himself, Joseph Frankie, who is like, he knows everything there is to know about not only money, but PT money. His wife is a physical therapist, so he's taken a keen interest on the field of physical therapy. So pre-PTs, DPT students, and physical therapists. So we will make sure that y'all get the best out of that. When do you start applying for scholarships? Is it when you are accepted into yeah, you can
It's a PT school, yeah.
yeah, you can start as early as that for sure. Y'all can start if y'all are accepted. Honestly, it depends on what scholarships you're doing it for. If y'all are doing like scholarships for your bachelor's degree, that's also saving y'all money because it adds up. If y'all are going straight from your undergrad to PT school, it's not like the undergrad loans are just going to run away. No, like that adds up, and what you end up paying at the end is a large sum of that and also the DPT loans. And so yeah, like if you're not applying yet, do scholarships. Like get used to doing scholarships for your bachelor's. Get comfortable with that. Let that become a habit. And then when you're accepted into a PT program, yeah, go on right ahead. Go on right ahead as soon as you're accepted into a DPT program and start applying for those scholarships. But guys, if I had done that, like I'm literally looking at how much. Like okay, so I graduated in August, February, and I'm like not looking forward to it. But February is when my loans kick in, which means that they start taking just money out of my account, which is frustrating because it sucks to see money just come and go without you even touching it, right? And so that, like, if you guys can reduce that stress on yourselves, like do it. And you guys are at a point where you can start setting that up. And if we need to talk like details as to how we can go about that, reach out to us. But like for y'all, if you guys can just start looking locally, like the small ones, $100, $200, $300, $400 scholarships, go for them, run for them, because like you will get to the end of not only being a pre-PT, but being a DPT student. You will get to the end where you get your doctorate, like Casey's about to get later this year, and you'll say, oh shoot, like it's nice and all that I got this degree, but 6 months from now, they're going to start come knocking. Dang, now I got to pay all this back. I should have listened to those guys that told me that I should have had a scholarship. I should have listened to those guys that told me that I should have, maybe had a side job where might have helped a little bit. Maybe I wouldn't have been having to take out loans just to spend at Walmart, for groceries. Maybe I wouldn't have had to take out loans just to, buy my family Christmas gifts. Maybe I would, like the interest on that builds up, right? So that's our advice. And like I said, we're teaming up with FitBucks to make sure y'all are well taken care of. Is that good for that section?
That's perfect. I love it.
Perfect. All right, number 3, power of building a team. The power of building a team. We also wish we would have known this. The power of building a team as in network, a network of, other pre-PTs, other PT students, other physical therapists. Start to interact with them. And you guys are in the perfect position because most of y'all at least, are in the pre-doctor of physical therapy students group. Y'all are in a platform that has been designed for you to interact with other people, that are on your journey, to interact with other people that are maybe a year behind from you so you can advise them, to interact with people that are ahead of you, PT students, physical therapists, to learn from them, to become to learn from their experiences, learn from their mistakes. Like Casey, on our podcast, bro, like how many times have you and I been on the podcast and someone's come on and you and I are just mind blown? I'm done with PT school. You're finishing PT school. Like we get mind blown. So had we heard that same stuff 3, 4, 5 years ago, it would have been game over.
Absolutely. That's why the Facebook podcast, Instagram, Twitter, our course coming out, everything. That's why we're doing everything now, because we're mind blown every single time. And if we knew this stuff as pre-PTs, we would have been much better off. So that's why everything is here now.
Exactly. So number 1, power of volunteering and observation hours done right. If y'all are coming in now, you guys might want to rewatch this. You know what I'm saying? Number 2, low GPA does not limit you. Number 3, power of building a team. Pre-PT, DPT students, and physical therapists. Anything else on that one, Casey, before I go to number 4?
Number 3, power
Yeah.
team. It just gives you confidence. Really, that's all I really had to say about it. Just having support, having like a cushion behind you, knowing if you fall, you got people to talk to. Just to have other pre-PTs to talk to for a camaraderie, just to know what they're doing around the country. That just would have made me. It just would have made me feel better. Just honestly, it's nothing too scientific about this one.
Yeah.
It's just good to have some support. And yes, you can have family support. Yes, you can have friend support. But if you have that support from a group of people, knowing exactly what you're going through, yeah, your family is there to help you, but they don't really understand the struggles of PT cast and the essay and waiting for an interview. But all these people in the group have it now. So that's my big thing here, is just having a support system behind you. So that's my take on number 3.
Straight up. That simple. Number 4, how to game plan looking forward. So laying out your game plan. We didn't really think about this. Now, Casey and I both, well, Casey started out as like pre-pharmacy, but once Casey knew he wanted to do like physical therapy, like we both kind of knew, okay, generally what we got to do. We got to do well in classes. We got to do observation hours. We got to somehow get accepted. We'll figure that out when we get there. But that's really how we thought about it. Am I wrong, Casey?
You're spot on. You're spot on. That's it.
Like straight up. But had we understood how to game plan, how to look at it, like moving forward, that would have been a game changer. Y'all have to start game planning. Y'all have to. We always talk about it. 5 schools. All you need is 5 schools. I had someone message me saying, yo, Joseph, I want to, like I've thought about doing like 15 different schools and, like, is that enough? Can I shed the 20, 25? Like, that's it. Y'all realize how much money y'all spend per school? I know y'all are not like in PT cast yet if you haven't applied yet, but when y'all get there, it's several hundred per extra school. So if y'all sign up for 20 schools, think about how many $1,000 you just dropped just to potentially be accepted. We have to be smart about this, y'all. We have to have strategy with it. Y'all got to have a game plan. If you guys are freshmen, it's time to game plan. You guys always, the thing is, I think like as pre-PTs, we always feel the way teenagers feel when it comes to driving and, skydiving and all these crazy things. You feel invincible. You feel like, yo, it's not going to touch me yet. It's not my time. When I'm a junior and a senior, I'll think about it. You know what I'm saying? Now, for all y'all non-traditional students, y'all a different case. So we understand y'all been through a bunch of different things before y'all agreed, that PT was the career for you. But y'all in undergrad, y'all in potentially even high school, y'all have to understand that you guys are you guys have the most leverage out of any single pre-PT there is. Y'all have the biggest leverage because you have the biggest span of time to game plan. Y'all have the biggest span of time to build up to finally getting accepted. 5 schools. That's all we say. All you got to pick is 5 schools. I'm saying, if y'all want to stay local, okay, find some schools that are local that kind of match what you're looking for. Do you vibe with them? Do they fit your personality? Do they, is it something you can afford? Y'all, this is real stuff. Y'all got to look at costs too. So that now you say, I'm a freshman. All right, I got my 5 schools. What am I going to do about it? I'm not going to sit around and just say, okay, I'll apply to them when the time comes. No, this is when you say, all right, these are the schools I got to figure out how to get to. If they're far away, I got to get a flight. I got to find someone local there. I got to stay with them because I need to make a campus visit. These are the schools where once I've made a campus visit, I'm creating relationships with the people that are there, with the faculty that are there, with the students that are there, with the admissions, coordinator person. That's your biggest ally. Y'all figure. Anyway, connect with them. Now, whether I'm texting them, whether I got them on Facebook, whether I'm doing this, that, and the other, that's my own ordeal. But especially just keeping up with an email, that's pretty professional, I guess. Just keeping up via email. And by keeping them, I'm not saying, hey, it's Joseph again, just checking it. No. This is an intentional email. Hello, this is Joseph. Last month I had the opportunity to come to your university, this, that, and the other, whatever. I was wondering if I could ask you a few questions regarding, the pre-PT, process and how you guys look at it. I always have 2 or 3 good questions once a month, once every other month. just keep the conversation going. But you better believe they're gonna notice, because not a lot now. When all of y'all start doing it, I guess they're gonna be like, "Yo, pre-PTs is just crazy beast now." But for the most part, most pre-PTs don't really do that. So they're like, "Yo, that Joseph guy really stands out." Like, I've been seeing a lot of emails. All those emails are very intentional. He's from Michigan. Like, homie made a flight all the way to Florida just to interact with us. He's next level. That only comes when y'all have a game plan. That only comes when y'all are intentional about that process of getting to the point where you're saying, all right, like, I'm ready to apply. Because you guys have to understand, when you guys submit your application, we always talk about this free fall. We always say, hey, once you apply, you've done your part. Now it's the free fall before the parachute, opens up, where, good scenery, all that good stuff. Basically is, once you apply, it's out of your control. You've controlled the controllables on your end. Now you simply wait until you get a call back, until you get a message back saying whether you got accepted or not, right? That's simple. So for you, because you've done all these things, because you had a game plan, because you said, I got my 5 schools, I'm going to be intentional about showing up, I'm going to create all these relationships, I'm going to hit a pre-PT grind and figure out everything I got to know. Blurp. But, like, I got to do all those different things. When you submit to those 5 schools, you are the least stressed person. Yes, it's always free fall. But now you are applying knowing that you really, really, really brought it. You brought it. GPA was a little low, whatever. When you went for the interview, you brought it. When you went for the campus visit, you brought it. When it came to communicating with the faculty members and the students, you brought it. When it came to killing your observation hours and having the dopest, letters of recommendation, you brought it. All these different things only come when you game plan. Oh, boom, we're back. All of them come when you game plan. Is it realistic to have a side job with school full-time the first or second semester or trimester of PT school? Honestly, it depends on you. Okay, so there are different programs. Some programs are flex programs. Those ones you can, fit a job in all day. I'm actually okay with y'all taking a semester to kind of figure out your flow. I sometimes take a little bit of time to figure out what my flow is in regards to, studying and how I'm going to balance everything out. So maybe take a semester. Take your first semester and just kind of figure out, like, how to put everything together, how it all works for you. But once you have a flow, especially after that first semester of PT school, even as a pre-PT, but especially PT school, like, it becomes the same flow you guys utilize for the rest of the program. So at that point, you're saying, okay, I know I studied this amount. I know I'm a morning studier or an evening studier, so I know how I can reorganize so that if now I want to work, I know how to go about it. Now, what that also means is we got to get smart with our time, right? So does that mean we're wasting a lot of time? Probably not. Does that mean we should still treat ourselves? Heck yeah. I like watching my TV shows. I like, watching sports, hanging out, doing this, that, and the other, whatever. But now we have to become a lot more intentional. We have to start prioritizing our time. And then once you get all that straight, then yeah, it's very easy to manage the job. But I'm saying, like, take that first semester because we all learn differently. Some people, absorb content really fast. Others take a little longer. I took a little longer. So I feel y'all. Y'all be struggling, to inhale, like, 1 page of content, take you like 5 hours. That was me. But once you figure out your flow, once you figure out what works for you, especially in PT school, it is game over from there. Casey, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so you asked specifically about a full-time job, so I latched onto that word. It's going to be kind of difficult to have a full-time job, but you can definitely have a job as long as it's flexible and the job knows you're in PT school, because PT school is going to take up a lot of your time. So can you have a job? Absolutely. You can have a ton of different jobs. You may even be able to keep the job you have depending on what it is. But full-time, it might be a little more difficult. So that's my only 2 cents in there. We had another question. Let's see if I can pull it up. Asking about schedules, like are they 5 or 6 hours? Are they split up? That's going to depend on your school here. Yeah. So our school, like, we have some classes are an hour, some classes are 2 or 3 hours, but we have breaks in between each of those hours. So this is really all dependent on your school. This is like a real school specific question, but you'll have breaks in between. Some classes are long. You'll just have to tough it out. It's a clinical doctorate program. You just got to do what you got to do. What do you think?
No, I agree. And I think it changed. I mean, it changed so much. Some semesters you had like a bunch of 3-hour lectures. Others, it was just a bunch of small little 1-hour lectures. And so it is nice, though, that at least the way I felt, it was nice, especially for those of y'all that actually know for sure that PT is what you want to do. It was nice to have a lot more classes that dealt with what I wanted to learn about. Because if y'all are anything like me, as part of the undergrad process, like there are like realistically some classes that might not appeal to you, like as an individual. Maybe chemistry is not your thing. That's cool. Like that's okay. Yeah, it's part of the requirement. Yeah, we got to do well in it. I get it. But it might not be your thing. So if you were to have a bunch of oh, perfect. Like if you were going to have a bunch of, classes that were chemistry and you didn't like it, you wouldn't be the biggest fan. However, now you get into PT school. If you're a fan of the human body, you probably like the anatomy and physiology and all these different things. But now you're doing all those classes that are building on themselves. You're understanding how it all works. You're understanding how it applies to your patient. You're having labs now where you're working with different partners. You're cadaver lab as well. But like you're doing all these different things that are now more appealing to you. So even though you're in classes longer sometimes, even though it might seem like a higher level of absorption rate, like Casey said, yes, you're still going to have breaks. Yes, it does differ per school, but I think you're also going to appreciate the learning process that much more. And this is why, for those of y'all that have not applied yet, please, please, please do your research into physical therapy. Understand whether it's really for you, because once you get there, if it is, y'all gonna have a blast. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's tough. But when you're doing something hard and tough that you actually enjoy, it completely takes the struggle out of it. Yeah, you might lose some, sleep and all these, but those are expected, right? Like right now, perfect example. Casey and I are passionate about serving pre-PTs. Casey and I are passionate about pre-PT grind and what we're trying to do. But there's nights we lose sleep. There's nights we're working on projects and it takes a lot of hours. Like
Last
there's
night.
so, hey, boom, just like that, right? But it's a different kind of hard. It's a different kind of hard because we enjoy doing it. When we're done with it, it's not like, oh man, like, do I have to do that again? It's like, okay, let me get some energy because I'm legit tired. I figure that, but I want to do it again. I want to keep serving and serving and serving. So it's the same thing when y'all are students. I want to keep learning, learning, learning. And then if you guys come in with that mindset, especially because y'all are gonna be like the most legit pre-PTs that the profession's ever seen, it's game over from there, man. But our last thing that we wish we would have known as pre-PTs is the power that belief in self has on your success. You guys have to trust in yourselves. You guys have to trust that, like, we talk about all of these things and looking into the future. You guys have to trust that there are hundreds of patients waiting for y'all at the other end. Like, I'm only a few months out of being out of PT school, but there's patients that I've had come to me that I'm like, yo, like it's almost crazy. Like it's crazy how our paths crossed. It's crazy how when they tell you their story, you're like, we were meant for each other. Like we were meant to die. Like we were meant to go through this process together. But you wouldn't have had that interaction had you not gone into PT school, had you not gone through the whole journey. So you have to start thinking with that in mind. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to know that regardless of what's bringing you down, whether it's the GPA, believe in yourself, because a lot of us have struggled with GPA at some point. School sucks sometimes, y'all. Like GPAs are frustrating sometimes. We understand it. We understand that tests are frustrating. We understand that sometimes family situations get in the way. But at the end of the day, you have to believe in yourself. And believing in yourself roots from the fact that you understand why y'all are getting into PT. If y'all understand why y'all are getting into PT, then you have to remind yourself that you're in that for something bigger than just a grade. You're in it for something bigger than just a GPA, something bigger than just a classmate that said maybe you're not cut out for it, or a family member. This really happens, y'all. Or a family member that says, y'all, that's a whack profession. Why are you even doing it? You're wasting your time. You have to believe in yourself. All those things are meant to bring you down, whether it's familial, whether it's friend-wise, whether it's yourself. Sometimes I am my own biggest enemy, where I sometimes overthink things and they can start, consuming me. But that's why I've intentionally put certain people around me to keep me locked in, to keep me focused, to keep my perspective lined up. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't, like a lot of things start falling out of place. And it's okay if you guys currently are not in the position where you believe in yourself. We want you to believe in yourself. We want to give you guys a safe space. When the pre-doctor physical therapy students page was started, like we made it clear that we were not like, we didn't want any kind of like arguments or, you know, looking down on anybody in that space, because we wanted it to be safe. We wanted people to feel like, yo, like regardless of where I'm at, I can speak my mind, I can say what I gotta say, and I'll be all right. Like, people will take care of me, people will understand, people will empathize, people will contribute to my experience, people will help me be steered in the right direction. But at the end of like, believe in you. Sometimes it means like self-talk, y'all. Sometimes it means, you know, reading some motivational books that get you to the point where you're saying, okay, like I'm ready for this thing. But believe in you. If we had understood that, nothing would have broken us. Nothing will break you if you believe in you. If you believe this is the career for you. If you believe you are meant to serve people at this point in time in your history, in your life's history, through the vehicle of physical therapy, believe in you. You have been given you've been given a special gift, and that gift is this passion to serve, this passion to try to understand people. Not everyone gets it. Not everyone gets it. A lot of people, you know, would rather just make their coin income. For those of y'all that don't understand that lingo, that just want to make like people just want to make their income, which is cool. But maybe they want to doing it a front desk job, which there's no problem with that. But that's what they've been called to. You've been called to serve people that are coming in with baggage, right? So if y'all have stories that have brought you down, stories that have, you know, left you at a point where you feel broken, that becomes part of your tool set that you carry into your profession. All of your weaknesses become your strengths. You start to relate with people better. If I was the perfect person that had never done anything wrong, never struggled or whatever, you best believe none of my patients would linger. They'd be like, yo, this guy's fake. There's no way they'd feel like they can't be around me because they wouldn't be able to be themselves. People will open up to you because of what you've gone through. You'll be able to see certain things that others won't because you've gone through certain things. But trust that those things are part of your journey. Trust that those things are crucial to you being who you are. But believe that you are in the right place at the right time, and that this profession is for you. This ability to serve people at this level is for you. And regardless of what this coming semester looks like, regardless of what this coming year looks like, regardless of what the next 3 years, 4 years, 5, it does not matter. Regardless of what they look like, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. You're doing the right thing. If y'all are still struggling with that, reach out to us, y'all. Because the last thing we want y'all to have a difficulty with is the roadblock that is ourselves many times. Does that make sense? Is that roadblock? But those are the 5 things we really, really, really wish we knew. We really wish we knew the power of volunteering and how we could really leverage that. We really wish we knew that the low GPA, that low GPAs do not limit you. That there's a power in building a team, pre-PT, DPT students, physical therapists, that having a game plan is critical, is crucial to you succeeding as a pre-PT, and the power of belief in self being amazing, being huge, being pivotal for you to succeed and thrive as a pre-PT. And if y'all are ready to really take yourselves next level, y'all, you guys see above, if you guys really want to understand how you guys can become a top 10 pre-PT, how you guys can be at the top of your game in 2018, we got like 5 short videos that we've, you know, put together for you guys to help break down how you guys can do that. You know, comment me, you know, capital M, lowercase e, exclamation mark, comment me, and we'll make sure to take care of you guys, because 2018 is the year where we want to transform the pre-PT experience. Like 2017 was just a warm-up, y'all. That was just a warm-up. This is the real game. Tip-off begins now. Tip-off begins now. PT motivational speaker here, LOL. Appreciate it, Trey. Appreciate it, man. But that's all, y'all. Like, guys, you have to understand, like, Casey and I always share from our hearts. Casey and I always share because we're passionate about seeing you guys win. We're passionate about seeing you guys succeed. And if we do that, then we've done our job. We've done our job. So, Casey, is there anything else you want to end with?
Just that if I didn't have belief myself, I wouldn't be here talking to you. Like, I got denied the first time. Okay, if I didn't have belief that I could get in a second time, I'm sure pre-PT grind would be here. Joseph can do everything. Like, I'm sure it'd be here, but I wouldn't personally be here talking to you myself. Then, if I didn't have belief, I wouldn't have set up my game plan to go the extra mile, to go the next mile, like we talked about earlier. So belief is really everything. And it starts with your own mind. It starts with your mindset. It starts with the community. And it really starts from everything we talked about here today. So if you have that belief, you have us as a community around you. We can set up a game plan for you. We have something coming out very, very soon next month to help you with everything. You guys had questions about everything. I was like, man, we have the exact answer for that. We have the exact answer for that.
Oh,
we know that. We know.
All day.
I was just reading these comments. I was like, man, we got you. So just be on the lookout for that.
Man.
But we have belief. What do you always say? You just need two things to get in: belief and work ethic.
Yeah,
You're
man.
good. You're good. You're in PT school already. Welcome to the PT profession.
Let's make it happen, y'all. You guys have a phenomenal Thursday. For those of y'all that have still not gotten our top 5 ways to become a top 10 pre-PT in 2018, you guys know what to do. See it above, comment below, and we'd love to hear more comments. For those of y'all watching on replay, keep commenting. We want to keep interacting with you guys. We want to keep serving you guys better and better and better and better. 2018 is tip off. We're in the real game. Season has started. It's no longer preseason. It's no longer warm-ups. Let's get it. Y'all have a good one.